call, we would like to explain to you all operating elements in detail. The main switch is at the control box underneath the operation panel on the delivery side. The 0 position means that the press is switched off. The position 1 means that the press is in operation. The cylinders of the press can be turned manually with one of the 2 crank handles. Open the guard on the operator's side and put the crank handle on the supporting device. Now you can turn the cylinders manually in both directions. The emergency stop is a red button on a yellow background. There is one on the main control panel and one on the auxiliary control panel at the second printing unit. The press stops immediately when you push the emergency stop button. The red switch will lock by itself. Turning the switch to the right will unlock it. All major functions of the press can be controlled at the main control panel. To activate the safety function, you have to push the middle button on the left twice very quickly. The LED will then glow. Pushing the upper button will move the cylinders forward. Pushing the lower button will move the cylinders backward. The auxiliary control panel at Printing Unit 2 has the same buttons. The cylinders will only move inch by inch if one of the press guards is open. There is also an unlimited crawl speed mode if all guards are closed. Please be careful not to open 2 guards at the same time. If you do that, the press will not move at all. After closing one of the guards, you can continue your work. The following guards of a Printmaster QM46 can be moved. You can open the guards at the inking unit, the dampening unit, as well as the one above the plate cylinder of Printing Unit 1. There are also 3 movable guards at Printing Unit 2. The main guard of Printing Unit 1 can be opened as well. If the press is standing still and you push the green button for production run twice very quickly, the pre-selected production program will start automatically. Pushing this button once during production run will interrupt the printing process. Pushing it again will start the production run again. The button in the middle starts and stops the waste sheet counter. If the LED is lit, the number of waste sheets is shown, but they are not counted for the production run. When deactivating this function, the pre-selected run will be processed. The red button will interrupt the production program and the press stops. Let's now take a look at the pre-selection buttons and their possible adjustments. When pushing the button for pre-dampening, you can set the number of cylinder rotations to pre-dampen the printing plate. You can choose any number between 0 and 9 with the plus-minus button. The entered value will be saved automatically. This pre-selecting option sets the number of cylinder rotations for pre-inking the printing plate via the inking rollers. Please enter any required number between 0 and 9 with the plus-minus button. With this button, you can adjust the pre-inking of the blanket. For a multicolor print on a 2-color press, this value should be 0 or 1 to prevent ink migration of the lighter color when printing 2 colors via one blanket. With this function, you can adjust the number of cylinder rotations for cleaning the blanket. The required value between 0 and 20 can be set via the plus-minus button. The selected value will be saved automatically. When finishing the production run, the printing plate will be ejected automatically if this function has been activated. It is especially useful for short runs with frequent plate changes. The LED will glow if this function has been selected. Here you can call up and set specific special functions. On the inside of the guard, you will find a chart showing all the special functions. Special Function 16 activates the operator guidance. The LEDs of the buttons for the possible steps will flash if the operator guidance has been turned on. These are the buttons for all direct settings. They all immediately start a press function. If you push the production button twice very quickly, the press will start at the pre-selected speed. Paper travel will start without printing if you also turn on suction and blast air. For adjusting jobs during press standstill, you can turn on blast air. If you push this button twice very quickly, you will start the automatic blanket wash-up process. The press will run the pre-selected wash-up and drying rotations. If the press is already in production, this button needs to be pushed once to start the automatic wash-up procedure. The Auto Plate button activates plate insertion and ejection. If there is still a plate on the plate cylinder, it will be ejected first, and the cylinder will move into the position for plate insertion. Position the new plate, push the button twice, and the plate will be inserted automatically. This function starts the positioning run for the sheets. The length of the sheet is measured and the double sheet detector can be set. Push the button with the ink fountain symbol to have the ink ductor take over ink from the ink fountain roller during the press run. When pressing the button with the arrows in the lower right corner, the plate cylinder will move to the correct position for diagonal adjustment of the printing plate. The printing plate remains clamped but is released. The plate can now be adjusted diagonally with the socket wrench. When pushing this button, you can select the required printing unit. If the upper LED glows, you have selected printing unit 2, and if the lower LED glows, you have activated printing unit 1. Both printing units are activated if both LEDs glow. The numeric display is used for entering numbers, as for example, run length or numeric codes for special programs. The entered numbers can be deleted by pressing the lower button on the right. You need this function for premature stopping of the production. The display of the remaining run length is set to 0, and the press stops the production run. The press speed is shown in the upper left corner of the information display. In the lower right corner, you can see the pre-selected run length, and in the upper right corner, the number of sheets still to be printed is counted backward. You can set the production speed via the plus-minus button. The maximum speed is 10,000 sheets per hour. If any error occurs, the symbols in the upper information display will flash. If one of the press functions is not working and this display flashes, you should immediately call for service. The error detecting system, Special Function 56, is usually all you need to find and even fix the problem over the telephone. Over here you see the symbol for a general malfunction. It will flash, for example, if one of the guards is open. This area will glow if an error occurred during plate change or if there is no plate on the plate cylinder. If there is a malfunction on one of the peripherals, it will be shown here. This display will glow if the delivery pile is full and needs to be changed. This function shows that there is a paper jam in the delivery. And this symbol indicates that there is a paper jam in the feeder. Double sheets, early or late arriving sheets, or missing sheets are registered and shown here. This symbol will glow if the feeder pile is adjusted too high or too low.